It's time for another exciting episode of the Bad Influence podcast with me, Jordan Banderas. Don't forget to hit that follow, subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my episodes. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on any of this. It's pure gold. So, today, we're exploring the murky waters of the victimhood mentality, a saga as old as time, but with a modern post-pandemic era twist. Because apparently, ever since the pandemic happened, everything has gone down to shit, don't you think? Or at least that's how sometimes life may seem. Because it's like the world's been dishing out lemons, and instead of making lemonade as people should, some people out there are just sucking on them and complaining about the fucking sour taste. And what's even more interesting is that instead of them stop sucking on the actual sour lemon, they just keep doing it. They don't change. They don't want to do anything. And if you tell them to stop doing that, they're like, why? Like they play the victimhood card. But right now, let's just talk about those who've made victimhood their brand. Probably you know who I'm talking about. Probably you have seen the type of people I'm talking about. The ones where you throw them a ladder out of their pit of despair and they'll ask why it's not an escalator. If you're trying to rescue me, you could do better. Why don't you just carry me out, right? I've been there. I've seen it firsthand. And fuck, it makes other people mad. Like I said, I've done that. And people stop talking to me because of that. But here's what I realized. There comes a time when you gotta stop waiting for someone to fucking carry you out and start climbing. One painful step at a time. No matter how fucking hard it is. Because that's what life is. There's gonna be times where you're gonna be down the hole and only you can get yourself out of that situation. I've been there. I hit rock bottom and I had to get out of that hole myself. The only thing that my wife did was support me. Other than that, that's it. She didn't carry me out. She didn't say like, oh, I'm gonna get you out of there. No, she's like, hey, you can fucking do this and you're gonna have to do it. You're gonna have to step up. And I did. And I'm not bragging. It's just that it was that fucking hard that it makes me feel proud about myself. And when I say people play the victim card, I'm going to share this story with you because this just happened recently. This is my inspiration for today's episode. And this is the type of people that I'm talking about. Now, for this particular story, let me just put it to you this way. A real-life telenovela unfolded right in my living room. Because picture this. A friend of my wife, let's just call her drama queen. And that's the only way that I can describe her because she is such a fucking drama queen. Well, anyway, she dropped by unannounced. The moment I saw her, I knew there was a storm brewing. I was like, who unleashed this fucking curse on my house? Like, what did I ever do to you? Like, take her with you. Because as soon as she walked in, she started talking about her latest tragedy. A horror movie involving her ex, child support, and her fondness for the bottle from the young age of 12. Believe me, everybody knows this. If you meet her, the first thing that is going to come out of her of her mouth, is going to be the fact that she's an alcoholic from the young age of 12 because of her mom. She plays that victim card so well. You know what I mean? Probably you know people like this. But the twist in this story is that she's the heroine. And probably the bad heroine too. Never the villain. She can never be the villain on her own story. She can never be part of the problem. And when I her arch villain, there to suggest maybe, just maybe, the alcohol was a problem, she looked at me like I had suggested that she should read Alcoholism for Dummies or some shit like that. I'm fucking serious. She was mad dogging me the whole time, like she was mad. And I'm like, first of all, this is my fucking house. Second of all, you can get the fuck out. And third, you're just too much sometimes. Because this drama queen has a condition for every bad decision and a pill for every condition, but takes no real action to change, which is something that it's important to do if you want to get out of the situation that you're on, right? You have to take action to change. Her life is so miserable that she likes to try to control what others do in her presence. When she was at my house, or in this case, our house, because my wife lives here, I started watching Home Improvement. This is the show that I have loved since I was little, since the 90s. I'm a 90s baby. So I watch TV shows that now are kind of fucked up, you know? So I started watching this show, and the moment she heard one old school joke from Tim Allen, you know, those kind of jokes that by today's standards will be considered either too woke, racist, or misogynistic, you name it. There's a fucking name for everything. If it triggers someone, it has a name. Well, she heard the joke and she got triggered. She was all like, that show needs to be canceled right now. I was like, wow. Well, it has been canceled for a long time. She didn't care. She felt so victimized by the joke that she wanted my wife to support her. And my wife, being the good friend that she always is, tried to be the voice of reason. So she tried to tell her friend that this is an old show and that humor was different back then, which is totally true. This is one of the reasons why older generations piss off younger generations, because of the gap in humor. The 90s humor, early 2000s, was fucked up. Double entendres, wordplay, that's how humor is in Mexico, and that's how I am. I do double entendres, I do wordplay a lot, I cuss a lot, so that's kind of like the humor that I grew up with. And that's what I'm used to. And it doesn't offend me because I get it's just humor. But in this situation, Reason had left the building, followed closely by a drama queen who stormed the fuck out of my house like a child because she didn't get the support she wanted. She didn't get the support that she actually thought she deserved. Because that's one thing that happens with people like this. They honestly believe that you're supposed to support them and agree with them no matter what because they're the fucking victim. And they will let you know that they're the victim. And if you don't agree with them, if you don't support them, they're going to try to make you feel bad. And that's where I fucking cut them off. And that's where you should cut them off. Because in this situation, here's what's interesting to me about her story. This vortex of misery wonders why she's running low on friends and why her family won't hang out with her anymore. She doesn't see that being around her is a master class in how to spot an energy vampire. That's exactly what she is. No, she's actually a fucking leech. And yes, there are people like that. They just leech off your energy, your good heart, your good intentions, your good vibes. And they do it. So after seeing this, I was like, fuck, she is hard to deal with. This made me realize that I had to make sure my wife knows what to do with people like this. So I asked my wife, can I give you some advice? She agreed. She's like, sure. And do you want to know the advice I gave my wife? Sure, I'm going to share it with you. Because my advice to my wife and to you, if you're dealing with people like my wife's friend, is to cut the cord on that emotional bungee jump. It's one thing to be supportive, which you can be, but it's another to be dragged down into the pit of despair with them all the fucking time. There's people that don't want to be alone in that fucking pit of despair, that they will drag anybody else with them that will allow that. Because they're like, hell no, I'm not doing this alone. You're coming with me. And they're going to try to drag you. And that's why you have to be protective of your energy. That's why you have to take care of yourself first. Because for those stuck in the quicksand of life, my approach is simple. I just ask them, what are you going to do about it? And this is one of the reasons why people hate me. Because if they're just there to marinate in their misery day in and day out and won't look for or try to find an answer, I'm not going to waste my time and energy with them. I have to take care of me, my wife, my dogs, and everything that I'm working for. So I don't have energy to spare, and I show them the door. People think that I'm being selfish for that. But I'm not being selfish. I'm being fucking smart because I'm using my energy wisely. I'm spending time with my wife. I'm doing what I love. I'm taking care of my dogs and making money and everything. So why would I waste that energy on someone else? People say to me all the time, it's like, oh, you're not a nice guy. And honestly, fuck being a nice guy. A nice guy is someone who just wants to fit in. And you know what? I'm going to make an episode about this. Because a nice guy wants to just fit in and be liked. I'm a good man, which is completely different. A good man doesn't give a fuck if people likes him or not. Because he's doing good things based on his values, his beliefs, his mindset, and all of that. Because in my opinion, and you may agree with this or not, I mean, differences of opinions, right? Life's too short to be the audience to someone else's tragedy, especially when they're the playwright, the fucking director, and the fucking star of the show. You know? Like, why are you going to waste your time watching this show that never ends? Watching this show that it's always the same story. Giving your energy to someone else's life that is never going to change until something dramatically happens, you know? That's when they're going to change. So my advice to you is to remember that you can't fix everyone, because sometimes they gotta pick up their own pieces. That's life. So don't let their drama series get renewed for another season at the expense of your peace. It's time to change the channel, and maybe, just maybe, it's up to you. You can start writing a different story. One where you're not just an spectator, but the hero of your own fucking movie. And with that said, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Remember to hit that subscribe button, and remember to follow and really like our channel so we can keep growing and post more inspiring content. And remember to keep an open mind and engage in respectful discussions in the comments below. And don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And here are my final thoughts. If you're trapped in victimhood, guess what? Nobody's coming to rescue you. And if you're dealing with people stuck in this mindset, don't let them take you with them on their bungee jump. And have a great day.